Let me pull up really quick. Hi for anybody that's in here. Let me pull up my, we were too busy chatting. But let me pull up my geomancy stuff. All right, let me pull that one up, that one, and that one. Oops. Okay, okay. One more. Okay. All right. So we're starting this week. Hi, sweetie. We're starting this week with geomancy. And pretty much the majority of you guys already had these because I did these in our sisterhood. However, I did update them, the cards that is. I updated them so that I tried to make sure that they're all exactly centered, which here, let me show you. Let me share this. Share video file, right? Or share screen. No, that's not what I want. Share video file, right? No, that's not what I want either. What am I doing here? Okay, here we go. Windows. Okay, share. Here we go. All right. So I also made some meaning sheets, meaning these you just print off. There's 2 sheets so that you have them all together. They're just pretty much a compilation of the cards. But these cards are roughly this size where you can see them in my hand, a nice size, right? And then you turn them over and you have all of the meanings. So, but I put them, as you can see here, and they don't look like they're the same. Like, for instance, you got Via over here and Populous over here. And then you've got Populous on this side and Via on this side. It's because when you flip it, then you want to make sure that they would be just the opposite. You know what I mean? The back would be on the other side. So that's why it looks like that. And another tip for printing these off is put a little circle or a little X on one of the corners of your sheets when you're printing them off so that you know which way your printer feeds so that you can flip it the right way in order to, make a double-sided. Do you see what I mean? You'll know with your printer when you start using it. But that's what I did. I put a little mark on it so I knew which side feeds. Because sometimes you think it's the top, but it'll go like this and feed, and it's feeding the bottom side first. So unless you're actually marking it somewhere, you're not going to know which way. So anyways, let's get into a little bit about geomancy itself. Geomancy is, as you can see here, oops. Geomancy, here we go. They're dots. So there's 4 different lines, okay? So you've got 1 dot for active and 2 dots for passive, which I'll show you here. This is how they're all made up. The first line in your geomancy figure, there's 16 figures altogether. The first line is fire, represents the element of fire. The second one represents the element of air. The third one down is the element of water. And then the fourth one down is earth. So you have your 4 symbols in there. Off to the left, you'll see where it says if it's active, which means it is more dominant. When you think of active and or passive, one would be more feminine, one would be more masculine, one is more recessive, one is more like action oriented. So if you have 2 dots, it's passive. If you have 1, it's active. So if we go back to, and I'm not going to go into all the meanings today because you've got them all right there. You're going to want to go through them, go through your worksheets and all that. And, you can you can decipher all that. I'm going to show you how you actually do it. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. One, because I got this, and this is what started me on this. I got the Geomantic Visions. And these are a book and coins. So you can essentially take all these coins out, put them in a bag, reach down and grab, because they all have, let me show you. Oops. There's the figures, the geomantic figures. Okay. But one of the ways that it talked about in this book of doing it is actually making a sheet with like 16 lines, because whenever you start doing geomancy, you start off with a shield. You create a shield. Generally, it looks like an actual shield like this, but to make it easier to actually write in it and all that and have like your, notes and stuff like that, I made it like that instead of going like this. Okay. But you're going to start off with your 4 mothers. Those are the things that you look for first when creating your shield. And the way that you do that is you can either do automatic writing, which is where you ask a question, which we're going to ask a question today. And that question is, should we keep on doing memberships? Right? Mm-hmm. So what you can do is just grab a piece of paper, make 16 lines, because one geomantic figure has 4 lines. And because we have 4 figures that make up our mothers, that you can see right here, that make up our mothers. Oh, and also in geomancy, we start reading from from right to left instead of left to right. Okay. So what we're going to do is you can close your eyes, put your pen right on the first line as you're asking the question. And this is where the automatic part comes in, the automatic writing, which I love. It's super powerful. You just close your eyes and you start making dots, and I'll show you. Okay, so the question is, should we keep on doing memberships? Should we keep on doing memberships? Should we keep on doing memberships? Okay, and you're just going to keep on doing it until it feels right to you. And you're just going to make your little lines like that. Remember, we're going to have 16 lines. So then you're going to count your lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it was an even number. So I'm going to put 2 dots at the end of it, right? I'm going to show you how to make the first figure. And I'm going to show you in this way. So, should we keep doing membership? Should we keep doing And I'm just going to keep on asking for the 4. Should we keep on doing membership? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's an odd number. So that would be 1 dot. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16. So or even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I got a passive fire, an active air, a passive water, and an active earth. And that, if you go to your worksheet that I created for you guys, or if you've already printed off your cards, we are looking for, or that one would be, that would be Acquisio. Okay. So, Sissy, do you want to read what Acquisio means?
Sure.
Sure. I love that.
Is it Acquisio?
Acquisition. Yeah, Acquisio.
The Jupiter Sagittarius, hips and thighs, 9th house, 3rd house?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me find it for you.
Referred to as gain, acquisitio is Latin for acquire. It is balanced by amicio and represents success and acquisition. Favorable, where gain is desired, and unfavorable when it is not. Success in money, career, and business. Prosperity, abundance, growth, expansion within years.
Okay. So if we were to just stop right there, that's actually not bad. And
Right.
It's talking about how it is positively aspected in the 9th house, because geomancy is also very closely related to astrology. You can use them, intermingly, or interchangeably, or whatever the word for it is. And it's not positively aspected in the 3rd house, which would be its counterpart, Gemini. Okay. Each one of these has those on the cards, on the backs of the cards. So now what we would do is we would go and find the other 3 figures. That was our first figure. So if we go back to our shield, that would be, you would put Acquisio in this one right here, this first one, which also corresponds to the 1st house in astrology. So your 4 mothers, you would find your 4 mothers. So another way that you can do it, like I was telling Carla before we started, you guys, because I made these cards for you, and if you print them off, if you want, you can actually, let's say, print off like 4 sets of these and then cut them all out, and you would have 64 cards. You could actually shuffle them and create. So for your first one, just pull one out and there's your first one. And then do it again. Keep on asking the questions just like you would tarot or anything else. So you can use this as a resource. You don't need anything else, just the stuff that I have provided for you. That's it. And some sheets of paper that you print off and cardstock. Now, I did go today. I was telling Carla before we started. I went and picked up some cardstock here from Michael's. So you can make them like craft looking. They're all just black and white, or like pretty blue. I mean, there's tons of different, different kinds of cardstock that you can make to make your own deck, and you can actually edge it with a nice color. You can make it look decent, just like with one of these packages. That's it. Because each set takes 4 sheets of paper, because it's double-sided. Is that right? Yeah, 4 sheets of paper. So another way that you can do it, if you want, if you don't want to do that, you could get a set like this where you can, draw them, or you can use dice. Now, I'm just using regular white dice. And like I was telling Carla, you can either do it, if you get, like, for instance, the colored dice that they have. Hang on. Oops. They have colored dice. Let me share the screen again. There we go. They do have colored dice where you can get one that's yellow, one that's green, all in one package, one that's blue, one that's red. And then you've got red for fire, you've got yellow for air, you've got green for earth. And
cool.
Yeah, so you could essentially, with one roll of the dice, have your first one. You would just pick, because remember, the fire is the first line, then the air is the second line, the third is your water, and then your earth. So you could do it that way. But if you don't want to do that and you want a little bit more, like what I'm doing, roll it. I would say, do we want to keep on doing memberships? And then I would count the number, and mine was 16. So I would put a double on this second line at the top and then keep on doing it instead of doing the lines. And then if you end up with an odd number, then it would be one circle for the next one and an even the next one and on, and then you get your 4. So once you have your actual 4, which let me show you how this looks. You know what? I wasn't even thinking. I should have printed this off. Let me print one of these off really quick so I can show you. I'll just make something up. All right, let's see. Which I know you guys know how to do this because we've already done these for you guys. And I had you doing it, but let me grab one. Oops. I should have been more prepared, guys. I apologize. All right. All right. So we've got our first one. I'm just going to make these up, okay? Just to show you how you would do the next set. Okay, so you would fill out. There we go. So then you would fill out the first 4. That is all you need to do with divination. Okay, just getting your first 4. So you can either do that in 16 lines and count them, or you can use a deck, or you can use dice, or however you want to do it in order to get your first 4 mothers, which also coincidentally is your first house in astrology, your second house, third house, and fourth house. Then you've got your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Because remember, in Geomancy, we read right to left instead of left to right, which normally. So I can never remember what my printer does. I do the X thing. Exactly. The X in the corner. That's perfect. So now what I'm going to do in order to get my next daughters, these are called daughters. These are mothers. These are daughters. And so we're going to take our first line and seeing how we have, and I can't see that really well. We have in the first line all the way across to the fires, we have double, double, single, double. So that's going to be my next figure. But so it's going to be, I'll show you, double, double, single, double. So that I just created my first daughter. Double, double, single, double. And you're going to follow that along all the way to complete all of your daughters. So I'm going to do that really quick just to show you. So it would be single, 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 double. Then it would be double, single, 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 and single, double, single, double. Okay. So that's how I completed each line going across, starting with your first one and moving it on. You all understand? I know you guys do. Double, double, toil and trouble. Yes, I know, you're funny. So now the next thing, in order to get our nieces, these are called our nieces. So we're going to take the first two mothers, and we're going to add. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a double. So we're going to make a double. Then our next line down is 2. So that's also a double, or an even, I should say. And then we've got 3 with our first and second. So that would be an odd. So it would be a 1. And then we've got another odd because we've got 3 here. So then I'm carrying down the next one. We're going to do that all the way. So our mother for our first and second mother makes our first niece. Our third and fourth mother makes our second niece. Our first and second daughter make our third niece, and our seventh and eighth. I swear I can count. Our seventh and eighth daughter makes our last niece. So let me just do that really quick, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I carried everything down. And see how I did that? So now we're going to go all the way down to our judges. I'm sorry, our witness. We have a left witness and a right witness. I'm making sure I'm in it. So we're going to do the first and second niece that makes one of the witness, and this one makes the other witness. So we're going to add. So on the first two nieces, it's an odd number, so that would be 1. And then another odd, so 1. Another odd, 1, and then 2 doubles. All right, and then on the other side, we got double, 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 single. So now we have our 2 witnesses. Now the witnesses are significant because the left witness is your future. Yes. Once you get used to it, then it's easy. It's just like the first time going through it. And once you actually do it, it seems more difficult than what it really is. But after you actually print off these and start just carrying it down, it's not even really hard math or anything. So now we're going to add the 2 witnesses to make the judge. So then that would be odd, 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 and odd. Even though I was making it up, just add them in there. My judge was via, the way. So when we go back to, oops, let's see what it says for via. I think that was the first one. So it's the waning moon. It's in Cancer is the sign. It's the stomach. It's aspected good in the 4th house and not as good in the 10th house of career, but 4th house of like strong foundations and family and stuff like that. Neutral figure that is the most active of all figures. It represents movement and big change, the opposite of populous. It is favorable for all situations that are looking for change, and unfavorable if you are looking for stability, receptive, and intuitive. And this could happen within months, depending on what kind of question you're asking.
Right.
So my thought on that would be, because I was asking, should I keep doing memberships? Well, it's saying use your own intuition, because it's not going to be like this great, big, wonderful thing. You know what I mean? It could be good or bad depending on what you do with it. The very first one was Acquisio, which was gain. Right. So if you're really unsure, and then you want to look at what we would have in the right, which I had. Granted, this is not accurate because I really didn't do it. I just marked stuff in there. But if I was doing this, it would be the right witness would be single, 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 double, which I believe is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter what it is. We're on a limited time, but that would be like what the past influence was, your immediate past influence around the question. The left witness, whatever that comes up, is what you can look forward to in the direct future. Now, if you want a little bit more information in regards to like how it affects the person that is asking the question, then you can do a reconciler. A reconciler is where you take your very first one, your very first mother right here, and add your judge together, just like you did all these. And that is your reconciler. So my reconciler would be, let's see, double, single, and double. So I'll show you which one it was. It was the opposite of acquisio. It was amicio, loss.
Oh, wow.
That's my reconciler. So it would be a loss for me. And it is because doing these, it takes a lot of time. And the memberships are $1.99 a month. And we do 4 of these a month with work, or sometimes 5 of these a month. So I'm trying to weigh whether or not it's worth it for me to keep doing the memberships, because I give so much in the membership. You know what I mean? So that's the question. And should I keep doing it on YouTube, or should I go to maybe Patreon or something like that, where, you know, they can actually purchase whatever level they want, or different courses or what have you. I believe they can. So, because this is not so easy doing it through, you know, and I'm not saying that it won't get better in the future, you know, with more options that they have for YouTube, but as it is, I don't know if it's worth it for me to keep doing this and to supply these worksheets and or cards or what have you for that $1.99 a month. So that was a quick rundown for you members. Look at your sheets. That was a quick rundown. You can use your sheets. You can print off the cards. If you print off like 3 or 4 of them, you don't even have to take the time to do. I mean, you can get like your first mother just by doing that, just by drawing the card like a tarot deck. Okay. Or you could actually make your own, like you would runes, make your own figures, just like these coins. You could easily burn them, or you could use, I mean, DIY, you could use a marker on something like a little wood thing if you wanted. Put them in a bag, go like this, pick your first mother, your second mother, your third mother, your fourth mother, and you've started your shield.
Right.
So there's many different things you can do. And I might do that too. That's kind of fun as well. But, or you can't really throw them. I mean, I suppose you could just pick 4 of them and throw them out. If you had like that's kind of a neat idea too. Let's say, for instance, you make like a table or a cloth that is 4-sided, like a circle, and then it's got like a pie, like 4 pieces of pie, 1 for earth, 1 for air, 1 for whatever. And let's say you tossed them, and whatever came up on those could kind of be geomancy. I mean, you can play with it. There's lots of stuff you could do. But next week, we're going to actually use the astrological geomancy chart, and I'm actually going to do the actual questions, should we keep on doing the memberships, on YouTube. And we're going to look at the chart in my actual astrology, or in your astrology, one of ours, and see how you fill it out using astrology. And this is more based off of Vedic astrology, but because it only goes up to Saturn, you know what I mean?
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I can't wait to check that out, sis, because
yeah. This one is kind of hard unless you're like sitting across from me, or we're doing it, or like I had a way to show you on the screen, which I didn't really.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe how to get your mothers. The most important thing about doing a shield is getting your first 4 mothers. And my favorite way of doing it is actually the like this. Doing it like that.
Writing.
The automatic writing, because once you actually like connect, it's like you're like plugging in almost. But I know there's some people that don't feel comfortable doing that, because maybe they automatically know that they're more prone to only doing evens, or doing odds. That's why I say do a whole bunch of them. Just close your eyes. Don't think about that and just keep on doing them, a whole bunch of them fast. That way you're less likely to be able to keep up with it. You know what I mean? And then it's more just like where your hand is doing it, not where you're counting it in your head. So, but yeah, I think I'm actually going to get a set of dice, one that's red, one that's green, one that's yellow, and one that's
yeah, blue. That's a great idea.
And then you can do it that way as well. So yeah, there was like several sheets this time, guys. Oops. There was 8 sheets, which print off your deck. And then there was the astrological geomancy, which we'll get into next week. There's a cheat sheet, 2 sheets worth, and talking about the elemental makeup, how they're set up. And then also your regular piece of paper with the 3 shields on there. You can ask the question and put the date. And I think that's important too. I like putting the date and putting the question so that you remember. Because I've got other ones here, which I can show you. Since I started doing geomancy, I can't put it down. I mean, I love it. You know, I'm like, because it's easier to get like yes or no questions, or use it in conjunction with another divination system. So either way, that was pretty much everything. I hope you guys understood. This one is a little bit difficult, like I said, to explain, but we're going to be doing the astrology next week. And then if we do continue doing the membership, then we're going to be starting palmistry after that. If we don't do the membership, if we don't keep doing the membership, then we're going to maybe move it over to like Patreon or something like that. Just because of unlocking like the different, you know what I mean? Because we just had like 13 weeks of astrology and 13 weeks of worksheets and all that good stuff. So, oh, hi, Candy. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put it member. That's okay. So I think we're good. Do you have any questions, Sissy? Do you pretty much understand how to do it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm excited to do the astrology next week, the astrology geomancy.
Yes. And like I said, print off the cards that I created. It's got everything on the back. And if you want to make your own geomancy deck, print off a few of the sets, and you've got your own geomancy deck. Right?
That's awesome.
With the meanings and everything on them. You don't need any other system other than this. That's it. Wow. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sissy. This was great as usual. And we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.